Something is deeply wrong in this town, and the worst part is, it's been wrong from the very beginning, but nobody noticed it until it was too late. Every step the characters take, every choice they make, every moment they think is random is starting to look planned. Like the town is not just a place they are trapped in, but something that is watching them, studying them, and pushing them exactly where it wants them to go. And now, with the trailer for Season 4, Episode 3, that feeling becomes even stronger. Nothing shown feels normal. Nothing feels safe. And nothing feels like it is happening by accident. The trailer opens with a heavy sense of silence, the kind of silence that does not feel peaceful, but feels like something is holding its breath. The forest looks darker than before, not just because of night, but because it feels alive in a different way. The trees seem closer. The paths feel narrower. It is as if the town itself is slowly closing in on everyone who is still trapped inside it. And in this silence, small clues start appearing, quick flashes that don't fully make sense but leave a strong impact. A door that should not be there, a figure standing too still, a sound that feels like it is coming from everywhere at once. What makes this trailer even more disturbing is the feeling that the rules of the town are no longer stable. In earlier moments of the story, there were rules everyone tried to understand. Do not go out at night, do not trust the voices, stay inside safe places. But now, even those rules feel uncertain. The trailer hints that something is changing in how the town works. The monsters are not behaving the same way. They are not just attacking blindly anymore. There are moments where they stop, observe, and even seem to wait. This shift creates a chilling question in the viewer's mind. If they are not just monsters acting on instinct, then what are they? At the same time, the emotional pressure on the characters is clearly rising. Faces in the trailer show fear, confusion, and frustration that is starting to turn into desperation. Some characters look like they are close to breaking mentally, while others seem like they are beginning to figure something out that they cannot fully explain yet. There is a strong feeling that trust between them is weakening. When people are trapped in a place like this for too long, survival changes them. The trailer hints at tension building between groups, and possibly even someone making a decision that others will see as betrayal, even if it is done for survival. What stands out most in this opening part of the trailer is not a single event, but the overall feeling that something is observing everything. It is not just the monsters. It is the environment, the silence, the timing of events. Everything feels too precise, almost like the town is not just reacting, but responding. And that idea changes everything, because if the town is responding, then it must also be listening. And if it is listening, then maybe it already knows everything the characters are planning before they even act. By the end of this opening sequence in the trailer, one thing becomes clear without being directly shown. The world of From is no longer just about survival inside a cursed town. It is becoming something far more disturbing. A place where reality itself feels controlled, where choices may not be free, and where every step forward might actually be part of something much bigger that no one inside fully understands yet. The situation inside the town has reached a point where nothing feels stable anymore, and every passing moment is adding more pressure on the people trying to survive. After everything that has already happened, the characters are no longer just reacting to fear, they are now trying to understand a pattern that refuses to make sense. The earlier confusion has slowly turned into a deeper concern that something is actively changing the rules they once believed were fixed. This is not the same place it was in the beginning, and the trailer for Episode 3 makes that very clear without needing to explain it directly. The town itself feels more unpredictable now. Small changes are happening that do not seem important at first, but when placed together, they create a disturbing picture. Paths that were familiar no longer feel safe. Areas that were once considered stable now carry an unknown tension. Even the atmosphere seems heavier, like the air itself is reacting to something unseen. The characters are beginning to notice that what they used to rely on for safety is slowly disappearing, and that realization is creating a quiet but powerful sense of fear among them. At the same time, the emotional state of the group is becoming more fragile. People are no longer thinking only about survival in the moment. They are starting to question everything that has happened so far. Some are trying to hold on to logic, believing that there must be a scientific or rational explanation behind the town's behavior. Others are beginning to accept that logic may not apply here at all. This difference in thinking is slowly creating distance between them. When people stop agreeing on what is real, trust becomes harder to maintain. And that is exactly what is beginning to happen. There is also a growing sense that information inside the town is not equally shared. Some characters appear to know more than others, whether through personal discovery or unexplained experiences. This imbalance is creating silent tension. Those who feel left out of important truths are becoming more suspicious, while those who hold knowledge seem burdened by it rather than empowered. The trailer hints that this gap in understanding may soon lead to decisions that cannot be undone. In a place where survival depends on unity, even small misunderstandings can turn into serious consequences. Another important shift shown in this section is how the characters are beginning to behave differently under pressure. Earlier, fear brought them together. Now, fear is starting to push them apart in subtle ways. Some are becoming more aggressive in their decisions, acting faster and with less discussion. Others are becoming quieter, more withdrawn, almost as if they are mentally preparing for something they cannot explain. This change in behavior is important because it shows that the town is not only affecting their physical survival, but also changing how they think and react. The trailer also gives a sense that time inside the town is not feeling normal anymore. Days and nights do not carry the same emotional weight they used to. Events feel disconnected, almost like they are not following a natural flow. This creates confusion about whether things are happening in a straight timeline or if something else is interfering with how time is experienced. The characters do not fully understand it yet, but the audience is made to feel that something about time itself may be unstable. By the end of this section of the story, it becomes clear that the danger is no longer limited to external threats. The real challenge is now internal as well. Fear, doubt, confusion, and lack of trust are becoming just as dangerous as anything hiding in the dark. The trailer builds this idea carefully, showing that survival in Episode 3 will not only depend on escaping physical threats, but also on how long the characters can hold on to their sanity and connection with each other before everything completely falls apart. The trailer begins to shift into its most revealing phase through a series of fast, broken visuals that do not stay long enough to give full answers, but stay long enough to create strong suspicion. The editing itself feels intentional, as if the information is being shown in fragments on purpose, rather than as complete scenes. This creates the sense that what is being revealed is only a controlled glimpse, not the full truth. Every frame feels like it is hiding something behind it, and that feeling becomes the main focus of this section. One of the most noticeable elements is the repeated return to the forest. The forest is no longer just a background location, it feels like a central force inside the story. The trees appear thicker, the shadows deeper, and the paths less clear than before. There are moments where the camera seems to move without direction, almost like it is being pulled rather than guided. This creates a sense that the forest itself is not passive. It is reacting, it is shifting, it is almost behaving like a living structure that responds to movement and presence. In between these forest shots, there are brief flashes of unknown symbols and markings. These symbols are shown too quickly to be fully understood, but their repetition suggests importance. They appear in different places, sometimes on walls, sometimes in natural surroundings, and sometimes in moments that feel almost out of place. This inconsistency creates a strong impression that the symbols are not random decorations, but part of a system that has not yet been explained. The way they are placed in the trailer suggests that they may be linked to the rules of the town, or possibly to the force controlling it. Another key detail in the trailer is the use of sudden silence followed by abrupt sound cuts. These changes in audio are not just for tension, but seem designed to disrupt normal perception. In one moment, everything is still and quiet. And in the next, there is a sudden shift that feels almost like a reset. This pattern creates a psychological effect where the viewer starts to feel unstable, mirroring the confusion experienced by the characters inside the town. It also raises the idea that the environment itself might not follow natural continuity. There are also quick shots of doors, windows, and enclosed spaces that appear in unusual locations, Some of these structures look familiar, while others seem completely out of place, almost as if they have been moved or placed there without explanation. This creates the feeling that the town is not fixed in a stable structure. Instead, it may be changing its shape or layout over time. If that is true, then navigation itself becomes unreliable, and escape becomes even more difficult than before. Among these visual fragments, the presence of figures standing still in the distance becomes especially important. These figures are not clearly shown, but their positioning suggests awareness rather than randomness. They are not rushing or attacking immediately. Instead, they are observing. This observation behavior changes the entire understanding of threat inside the town. It suggests that whatever exists here is not simply reacting to humans, but is actively watching them, studying patterns, and possibly waiting for specific conditions before acting. The trailer also uses visual repetition in a way that creates discomfort. Certain locations appear more than once, but with slight differences each time. A hallway might look the same at first, but on the second appearance, something is slightly off. A room might feel familiar, but a detail inside it has changed. This technique creates uncertainty about memory and perception. It raises the question of whether the characters are moving through a stable environment or one that is being altered without their knowledge. By the end of this visual breakdown, the strongest impression left behind is that nothing shown can be trusted at face value. Every scene feels layered with hidden meaning, and every cut feels like part of a larger puzzle that has not yet been solved. The trailer does not just show events, it challenges the viewer to question whether those events are real, repeated, or manipulated.